Maybe.
Welcome. I wish I could say I had a blessed weekend, but unfortunately I did not. I did have a blessed Friday. It was a movie. But unfortunately, Denver Broncos, Russell Wilson, I'm not going to say it now. I'm going to wait till the show gets started. But I hope all my viewers are having a great day today. Unfortunately, my Sunday was very bad. But what can you do, man? What can you do? You win some and you have some. But before we start the show today, I want to introduce you guys to my colleagues. First off, to my left side is Tony, wearing that garbage Mets head again for 3 weeks in a row. How you doing over there, Tony? How you feeling over there?
Yeah, mixed emotions. The Giants did their job. The Mets didn't do their job. But I can't complain. I mean, Mets are still in the playoffs. Giants are looking good. Let's keep it rolling, baby.
And tonight's show is sponsored by on David's side by Society Nightclub, guys. David, how you doing over there, buddy?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm doing good. So the show we got a sponsor now for Society or no?
What you say?
We got sponsored by Society yet or no?
We can work something out. Don't worry. Okay.
And let's first we brought up the Giants. Giants won again. I don't know how, but they did. Now they got no quarterback and they're going to London this weekend. Tony, what do you think is going to happen now? No Daniel Jones. Who's going to be playing quarterback? Because I heard Tyrod Taylor's banged up too.
So Daniel Jones says he feels good. He wanted to play the game. Dable, I guess he did the right thing by telling him, no, you're not going to play and hand off and blah, blah, blah. It was a good game. I mean, Saquon is looking legit right now. I believe he has the most yards by scrimmage, scrimmage yards than any other player right now by a decent margin. Saquon is looking amazing. Also, where the hell was our defense for the first 3 weeks? Holy shit, with the sacks, where'd that come from all of a sudden? So I'm happy to see that. But there's some interesting stuff happening right now around the Giants. We spoke about it last week a little bit. So 2 former Giants paid a visit to the Giants camp this week. One person was invited, and he might get a contract deal. That's our good old number 3-time Pro Bowler, Landon Collins. He was invited, and we're going to see what happens. I think the Giants got to do the right thing there and sign the guy. He's a 3-time Pro Bowler. He played great for us. I know it didn't work out for him in Washington. It is what it is. And then uninvited, Odell Beckham shows up to Giants camp. Odell, what's the matter? No one's showing you any love, buddy? We could use you. We'll pay you. Come home.
David, what do you think on this one, buddy? What do you think about everything that's going on with the Giants? Let's take one.
Listen, we're playing the Packers. I mean, we're probably going to lose anyway. So, I mean, if I was the Giants, I would maybe rest them for 1 week. But we've had a pretty good track record against the Packers. So, I mean, listen, at the end of the day, is it really worth Daniel Jones hurting his ankle again and affecting the whole season? So, I mean, that's one thing I have to question. And in terms of what Tony said about Landon Collins and Odell's at Giants camp because he went to go visit Sterling Shepard and Saquon and them. It's not so much he talked to them about signing, but I will take Landon Collins any day of the week because he brings depth at safety. And honestly, if I was the Giants, I maybe even try my outside linebacker. He's fast. He could tackle. He's not the best cover person, but he could sure as hell rush the passer and stuff like that. So I'll take him. But in terms of Daniel Jones, I mean, listen, he wants to play. You can see in the silence he was trying to get back in running and stuff like that until Tyrod got his head taken off on that play.
Where was the flag on that play? I don't understand that. That was such nasty head-to-head contact.
I mean, it could have been, but it's one of those where it's like he was leading with his helmet, but he didn't really hit with his helmet at first. Like he kind of grazed him with it. It could have been a flag, but at the end of the day, I mean, If I was Dable, would I rest Daniel Jones? Maybe yes, because I want him for the bulk of the NFC East games. And it's in London too, so all that plane, him on a plane, his ankle's probably gonna swell up a little bit. So
Okay. Let's see what happens, man. I still can't believe the Giants are 3-1. I still can't believe that. But like I say, crazy shit happens all the time. All right, we're talking about injuries. We're talking about collisions. As we saw on Thursday Night Football, we saw Tua take a very bad hit to the point where his finger seized up. He had a seizure while he was still on the field. Who's to blame for Tua getting back? Do you guys think Tua shouldn't even play that game on Thursday that he was in?
good, Tony.
So I look at this as a double-edged sword, and let me explain a little bit. So the player has to kind of know themselves how they feel, and then the training staff has to kind of know how they feel. If Tua wasn't right, if he knew he wasn't right, he shouldn't have played. And if the training staff knew he wasn't right, they shouldn't have they shouldn't have let him play. Now, here's the caveat there. So what happened here is what I knew was going to happen. So the league is starting their investigation, and Miami, as quick as they could, fired somebody. Fired an unaffiliated neurologist. An unaffiliated neurologist. So what really happened is they made this guy the scapegoat. They paid him off really handsomely because I can guarantee an unaffiliated.
He didn't get fired by the Dolphins. NFLPA fired him. The NFL Players Association.
It's a scapegoat. Everyone is calling for head. They use this guy as a scapegoat.
Tony, Miami didn't fire him. NFLPA fired him.
Okay.
They didn't call the fire. They didn't fire. Don't say Miami used a scapegoat. NFLPA is the one that fired that shot and got him fired. NFLPA right now.
Same thing, man. Same thing. It's
Tony.
It's an unaffiliated neurologist who doesn't even really have a job.
You can't say that's the same thing, buddy. You can't say NFLPA, Miami Dolphins, two different things. That's the NFLPA, the NFL Players Association. They had nothing to do with the Miami Dolphins like that to call that shot. Miami Dolphins, that doctor was fired by the NFL Players Association president.
He's an unaffiliated doctor. They used him as a scapegoat.
Okay. Dave, what do you got to chime into this?
I mean, how do I put this? There's several categories. So basically, they talked how the player should have stopped him. Listen, no offense. If my starting quarterback got hurt, I'm trying to fire him up to get back in the game. That's number one. Number two is they were talking how if Tua's job was secured and not everybody talking about him this whole offseason and stuff, he probably would have sat out. But because of the way everybody talks and how they're trying to get rid of him and all that stuff, that's why he went back into the game. That's number two. Number three is, listen, I've had concussions playing football, high school, college, and everything. Sometimes you don't even realize you have one. I don't even, when I played, I don't even know if I had one or not. Your bell gets rang, you shake it off, you get back in, which is exactly what he did. Now, his looked a lot worse. But at the end of the day, I gotten blindsided really bad on some plays where it probably would have made an NFL team be like, holy shit. I probably would have been on film, as a blooper with my feet in the air getting blindsided. But at the end of the day, listen, if somebody says you're okay and if you pass protocol, I don't understand what else the doctor is supposed to do. And it's football. I get the protection. And I forgot who it was. I think it was Dominique Foxworth that said, NFL players have maybe an 8 to 10 year span of football. You're trying to make as much money as you can. Then after football, you don't know what's going to happen. So for Tua, he wants to still be a starter and still get paid. That's when he went back in the game. He brought up so many good points about that. It makes you think a little bit damn, these people are pretty much putting their lives on the line for millions of dollars a year. And they don't want to sit out because they don't want a chance to lose out on money or their starting job. That's true.
Okay, I got to agree with David on that 100%.
So here's the thing. I actually read on Tua's contract. His entire contract is guaranteed. A $30.75 million contract is completely guaranteed. His first payment of $19.25 million was his first season. And then after that, I believe it's 6 or 7, something like that. for a total of 4 years.
Yeah, but don't forget
his full 4 years is
Oh, yeah.
guaranteed.
But don't forget too, there's a lot of chatter about Lamar Jackson wanting out of Baltimore and how Dolphins wanted Lamar Jackson. So now if I'm Tua, I'm like, all right, I got to quiet these haters. I got to play and make them not think about that. Because honestly, if I was Lamar Jackson, why would you not want to imagine that offense with Lamar Jackson? You have the fastest quarterback, you got the fastest running back in the league in Mostert. You got the two fastest receivers in the NFL with Waddle and Tyreek Hill. Yo, imagine trying to stop that offense.
Yeah.
If you're Tua, I mean,
the tax incentive to go to Florida, absolutely.
Which is why Tyreek Hill. Do you see that article? The reason why Tyreek Hill chose the Dolphins over the Jets, by the way,
it had to be the taxes, right? Yeah, yep. Absolutely.
So, I mean, I don't blame Tua for trying to go back in. He wants to keep his job. He's in sunny Miami. I don't blame him.
Okay. Let's see what happens. Hope we feel better, buddy. We want to see you back on the field because that Miami Dolphins is looking kind of scary. It's funny, David, you mentioned the Baltimore Ravens, Lamar Jackson. The Baltimore Ravens blew a 20-3 lead. They had the ball 4th and goal.
Twice.
John Harbaugh thought he was still in 2019 and decided to go for it twice instead of kicking field goals, which ended up costing the team and which ended up costing him and Marcus Peters having an argument to be separated. Do you think it's time for Baltimore Ravens to throw that flag, give it to John Harbaugh?
Go ahead, Tony. You could go first.
No. Lamar Jackson is an MVP quarterback. Put the ball in his hands. Get it done. He's still a young kid. He's not Russell Wilson. You know, he's not over the hill. He's still a young kid who's got plenty of legs, plenty of arm. Harbaugh did it the right way. Put the ball in your player's hands and let your player make the play.
But that ended up costing the game, though, Tony. What you could end up playing in favor when it goes to.
So here's the question, right? Yeah. So if they score, Harbaugh's a fucking genius. They don't score, he's a goat and he won his job.
That was the second time they screwed up that 4th and goal. They had 4th and goal.
Harbaugh's not playing the game. He's putting the ball. He's putting the ball.
If you didn't make it the first time, why would he go for the second time?
He's putting the ball in arguably one of the best quarterbacks' hands.
He's not playing. Tony, no one's saying that. But if you got to win the game, you would go with the safety way, kick a field goal.
If you want to win the game, you put the ball in your player's hands.
Two times after the first time you didn't make it.
Hold on. You call you're Phil Jackson. You call a play for Michael Jordan, right? He doesn't make it the first time. You're not calling the winning play to Michael Jordan again?
Okay, this is way 2 different sports you complain about. 2 different sports.
No, it's the same thing.
All you had to do is kick a field goal, give it to the best kicker in the league on your team, and got that game in overtime. That would have got the game in overtime. You would have done something.
You play for the win. You play for the win.
Do you know why they went for it, though? They went for it because their defense has given up 2 17-point leads in the third, fourth quarter. If you're Harbaugh, right, you don't score, right? You're still in the same spot as you would if you kick a field goal because you know damn well Josh Allen has all their timeouts left. You know he's going to drive the length of the field and probably score with that offense. What's the field goal going to do? The crowd would have booed him if he would have kicked the field goal on the 3 yard. I think they're on the 4 yard line or something like that.
Oh, you got to go for it.
Yeah, the crowd would have booed him. I wouldn't have picked that play. And also, if you look before, the wide receiver was wide open. Lamar Jackson didn't see him wide open. It was Lamar Jackson actually made a delayed throw to him, which is why I got intercepted. So you can't blame Harbaugh. You got to blame the defense, man. The defense has squandered 2 17-point leads against the Bills and the Dolphins consecutive weeks. That's not good, man.
Okay. Let's see what happens now. They got another big game ahead of them this weekend. It's funny that you mentioned Russell Wilson, man. Tony. Russell Wilson versus Geno Smith as of now. They just came up with the stats. Russell Wilson has 80. He has 80. He had 210 passes. 80 were completed out of the 130. Sorry, he threw 131 passes. 80 were completed. He has 900 passing yards. He has 4 touchdowns, 1 interceptions. Versus Geno Smith has 102 passes thrown out of 132, over 1,000 yards, 6 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. Do you guys think Russell Wilson just should have kept his mouth shut and stayed in Seattle?
I mean, he's wanted out of Seattle for a long time. And I can't compare the stats too much because look who Geno Smith is throwing to versus who Russell's throwing to. And I mean, Geno Smith sucks. I don't care what the hell happens. He's garbage. Um,
And you guys started him over Eli Manning one time? Ben McAdoo? Ben McAdoo?
okay, I mean, I don't control that. That's why the guy was fired. What, 2 days later? I
A
mean,
day later. It was 5 days later.
whatever. Um, but maybe Russell should have thought about, hey, calling it quits, hanging it up. I don't know. I don't know. I think he's in a no-win situation right now in Denver.
Let me step in a little bit. Listen, the fact that people actually think Geno Smith is better than Russell right now, stat-wise, they don't know football. I mean, if you watch
the stats are there. They're just not really real.
Yeah, but also you got to see who they played and stuff like that. You also have to go by that. The Lions have the worst defense in the NFL. Russell plays in the hardest conference in the NFL. You can't compare any of that stuff. I'm sorry, you can't. And I'm not just sticking up because he loves Russell Wilson. I'm just saying.
No, I agree. I'm just saying that the actual numbers.
Oh, yeah.
The numbers are there. I just don't believe them to be really real.
Russell Wilson, and you have to also realize people don't understand like that don't know football. You guys do, obviously. You're going into a whole new system, a whole new coach, new players, new schemes, everything. It's very different than where he was in Seattle, where he knew what to expect and he could give his input and everything. It's a whole new offense, man. This is like brand new for him. And I don't care how many years he's been in the NFL. Like for me, even when I played in college, when we had a new offensive coordinator come in, everything changed. Even the best players on our team, because I think I was a redshirt sophomore when we had a new head coach come in, an offensive coordinator. It changes everything. It really does. And people don't understand that, like schemes, like you do what benefits everybody. They're not doing what benefits Russell Wilson. They're doing what benefits everybody. The run game has been awful for them. Yeah. Everybody's been hurt on the running backs, and Melvin Gordon's giving the ball to the other team. So you really can't blame Russell Wilson in this case. He's been in the system for 4 games. Talk to me after the season when who's in the playoffs and who's not, and then we can compare stats and stuff like that.
I mean, I don't think they're going to make the playoffs.
I think they're going to start clicking. It might be too late, but I think they're eventually going to start clicking.
I think the main problem with Melvin Gordon on this offense, I'm going to say why. If you have a 10-10 lead, why are you fumbling the ball against the Raiders when they have Devontae Adams on the other side?
Why are you fumbling? The ball got hit out of his hand. I mean, listen.
I mean, people don't fumble on purpose.
Yeah,
he fumbled the same thing, I believe, 2 games ago.
Yeah, he fumbled
against Seattle. Same fumble he did against Seattle.
But that's what I'm saying. It's not Russell Wilson's fault. It's the scheme and everything. They're trying to balance Russell Wilson to where he's not getting hit. I mean, have you watched the games? He's been getting hit a lot too.
And my thing is, why is Russell Wilson not running? You know to run the ball and run while throwing the ball. Why are you just staying in the pocket? You're not known to do that. I don't know why either the Broncos told him to stay in the pocket or I don't know who did. But Russell Wilson, you should not be staying in the pocket because you're not known to. Most of your crazy plays were not in the pocket. You got out of the pocket and made shit happen. You're throwing the ball in the pocket out of the guy's hand, hitting their chest. Come on. And the Raiders game you had in your head, but you gave it away.
Well, do you know who the old coach? The coach of the Denver Broncos was with Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers does some bootlegs and stuff like that, but not as much as Russell Wilson. He's going to have to figure all this out. He's a first-time head coach. That's what I mean, man. Everybody needs to stay calm. Like, understand football terms. New head coach, first-year head coach, different offense from what Russell Wilson used versus what Aaron Rodgers does. Weapons, just everything. Like, you just got to break it down. Like, people thought when Russell Wilson signed, all Bronco fans, even ones I know that are Bronco fans, like, oh my God, we're going to Super Bowl. We're going to win the AFC West. It doesn't work like that. It takes a year or two to get used to a system, get used to your players and stuff like that. Like, it just bothers me when people say stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, he's not Peyton Manning or Tom Brady.
But unfortunately, they don't got that time either. They invested a lot into him. They got to do it. Broncos ownership and the head man invested it on purpose. They want to get results done quick. They want the results quick. They do 2 first-round picks, $250 million guaranteed contract.
Did you watch the Broncos? The Broncos game was actually on TV versus the Raiders. The Raiders they made Josh Jacobs look like he was like the best running back in the league. He has done nothing the past 3 weeks. He had probably the game of his career against the Broncos. They could not stop him running, catching, nothing.
That's true. Let's see what happens, man. Russell Wilson hopefully turn the direction, man, because it's not looking good for you in the Broncos. Not looking good for you right now. All right, now let's talk about another game that happened, I believe, Sunday Night Football. No, Monday Night Football. Sorry, Monday Night Football. Monday Night Football. The LA Rams. I really am astonished at what this. You only scored 3 field goals against Jimmy G. Jimmy G is out to prove something, man. He wants that job back. He's been coming to play. David, I see you making faces. Why are you making faces?
Because the San Francisco is one of the best defenses in the NFL. That's why. And also, I saw a stat. They said he's been targeting Cooper Kupp more than any NFL in history in terms of targets. I think he had 20 targets yesterday. You can't target one person 20 times. The defense is going to read everything. And that's how San Fran intercepted that ball. It was going to Cooper Kupp. The corner came up, read it, picked it for a pick six. Listen, defense wins championships. And honestly, if it wasn't for that pick six, the Rams defense played great also. Jimmy G didn't play Jimmy G should have threw a pick to that Debo
that Rams defense did not play a good game over there. Come on, boy. You saw that play they blew up against Debo Smith. You're the best quarterback in the league. You can't tackle the guy? Come on, boy. Debo Smith was right there. You're the best quarterback in the league. Come on.
Okay, that's one play. You can't base one play over. Dude, 17 points in the NFL, especially the Rams, okay, who has a good running back and probably one of the best wide receivers. And also for San Fran, Jimmy G, that he has targets and stuff like that too. Like, dude, you have to understand it's the Rams offense. It's not the defense. And Aaron Donald, you can see all their frustration. The defense got in a fight on the sidelines. I don't know if you guys saw that. Holland's got in a fight with, I forgot what's his name, on the sideline. Dude, it's not good right now for the Rams. And I said even last week on the show, defense wins championships, and San Fran has a top 3 defense in the NFL. That's all.
Okay. Tony, what do you think about this game? What do you think?
I'm not sure if Jimmy G played lights out. I mean, Christ, last week's game was absolutely terrible with him stepping out of bounds for the safety. I just think the Rams are playing really bad football right now. And I think Stafford is looking more like the Stafford of old, who I said last season I thought he'll remind me of the guy who was from Detroit, who couldn't win shit. That's what he's looking like right now. I mean, they're the Super Bowl, they're the Super Bowl ones. They were there last year. I don't know. I just think Stafford's looking like shit.
Okay. Unfortunately, a good friend, John Paul, was not with us today. He's busy. He got a little busy. Let's talk about the New York Jets, man. They came and played against the Steelers. Did you expect that game from Zach Wilson over there?
I mean, I said it last week. They were gonna put a ton of pressure on that kid to win. He showed up, man. He showed up. It was an exciting game. Came down to the very end there. Good win for the Jets. Pittsburgh they look pretty bad too, though. So.
Okay. David, what do you got to think about this one, buddy?
I don't think anything. The game was sloppy. Pittsburgh played sloppy. The Jets honestly played good enough to win. That's all I could say. Pickett, it's about time the Steelers put in Pickett, and now they say they're going to start the rest of the season. So we'll see what happens.
Okay, man. It's that time of night again, guys. That time of night for weekly picks. Tony, you ready?
Wait. How
So,
do we do?
that's what I'm going to get to. So, first place, we have a 2-way tie. My brother and myself, we went 11 wins each. David, you were right behind us with 10 wins. And Tiny, you had 6 wins.
Oh, my God.
How many games were last week? 6 out of 11. I forgot how many games happened last week.
Last week, you won 5.
Shit. Damn. That's combined to what both y'all did today. Damn. This weekend. All right. Tony, I'm gonna start off with you. Ready? You ready? Make it ready?
Hold on, let me get my legal pad ready.
Hold on, you guys ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, Tony, first game of the week. We got Colts coming into Denver Broncos Thursday Night Football. Who you got, buddy?
I'm gonna go Indy.
Okay. David, who you go, buddy?
Oof. I'm gonna have to say Indy too.
I'm gonna go with the Broncos. The pressure is on Russell Wilson now. The Broncos head coach over there because $250 million on the line. You guys invested in this guy. I'm gonna go Broncos. Next up, we got a Sunday game in London. We got the New York Giants versus the Packers. Tony, who you going, buddy?
I mean, I hate to do it. I don't know who's starting. Even though our record in England is pretty damn good, I have to go with the Pack. I mean, just based on, I got to keep winning here. So I got to go with the Pack.
Okay, David. You going to Packers, David?
Yeah, of course.
I remember last week I said a theory of mine. When a defense does not know what quarterback they got to watch tape on, that quarterback can come play the game. We saw that last week in the Patriots game. They almost won that game, but they still lost. So that's why I'm going to go with the New York Giants to win in England. Next up, we got the Detroit Lions facing the Patriots. Who you guys going with, Tony? David, who you going, buddy?
Go ahead, Tony.
I think I keep going week after week for Detroit. I don't know why I keep doing it to myself. You know what? I got to go with New England on this one. I have to. New England.
Okay.
Same thing. Detroit has a great offense, but their defense can't even stop us. So I would say Patriots.
I'm going to go with the Detroit Lions. I think Jared Goff's going to get the job done. Next game we got the Chargers versus the Browns. Tony, who you going, buddy?
Chargers.
David, who you going, buddy?
Do we know what time the game's at? Anybody?
1
I'm
o'clock.
going Browns.
I'm going Chargers. Next up, we got the Texans versus the Jaguars. Tony, who you going, buddy?
Stupid game. Jaguars.
Jaguars also.
I'm going Texans. Next up, we got Falcons versus the Bucks. Who you got winning, Tony?
Tampa Bay.
Tampa also.
Tampa Bay as well. Next game we got is a new quarterback coming in regime. Steelers versus the Bills. Who you got there, Tony?
Buffalo, easy.
Buffalo.
I got Pittsburgh.
And then you wonder why your freaking thing sucks.
Listen, guys, if you guys watching, whoever my viewers watching the show, be careful when you bet on me. Be careful. Sometimes I win these upset games. Sometimes I don't. Next game we got is the Miami Dolphins versus the New York Jets. Tony, who you got, buddy?
So Tua's not starting. They pulled him out.
Well, about time.
Robert Saleh, can you get 2 in a row, man? I think you can. I'm going to go Jets.
Oh, you really must be on crack over something cool over there.
Miami.
Come on, buddy. Miami with the Yammies.
Miami with the Yams.
Yeah, you know that. Next game, we got the Chicago Bears versus the Minnesota Vikings.
Vikings.
Chicago Bears. Next up, we got the Titans versus the Washington Commanders. Tony, we know how much you love the Washington Commanders.
They are playing like absolute shit, and I think they're actually starting to tank too. I think Chase also wants out already. I mean, what is that, his second year there already? Third? He wants out already. I got to go Titans.
Okay. David, who you got, buddy?
Titans.
I got the Commanders. Next game, we got the Seahawks versus the Saints. James, I don't know who started. I think Andy Dalton versus Geno Smith. Tony, who you got, buddy?
Ugh. I'm gonna go a little weird on this one. I'm gonna go New Orleans.
Oh, why? How's that weird? I'm going New Orleans too. Their defense is way better than the Seahawks.
I'm going
Seahawks have been playing above their heads so much so far this year. It's such a toss up.
I'd rather trust Andy Dalton over Geno Smith any day of the week.
Okay.
Tiny, I'm assuming you're taking your old team?
Yeah, go to hell. Yes, I'm taking my old team. Okay, next game we got is the San Francisco 49ers versus the Panthers. I'm going to go first. I got the Niners. Tony?
I'm going Niners also.
Oh, 49ers.
Niners. Okay. Next up game we got, this is Tony's and David's favorite team. We got the Philadelphia Eagles versus the Arizona Cardinals. Tony, who you got, buddy?
I got to go with the Eagles, man. They're just playing way too damn good.
And I'm going with the Cardinals.
Okay, I'm gonna go with the Cardinals too. Next up game we got the Dallas Cowboys, Cooper Rush versus the LA Rams. Yeah, Tony, who you got, buddy?
Oh man, I hate the Cowboys.
But I think we know that by now. I think even the viewers know that by now. I think the entire state of New Jersey knows that by now.
You know what? I got to go LA. I can't. I got to go LA. Rams.
David, who you got, buddy?
That Cooper Rush magic is going to end. I'm going with Rams, though.
I'm going with the Cowboys. I think Cowboys going to get the job done. Okay, LA Rams, you're on the way your head's at, especially Matthew Stafford. Your head's probably still in Detroit, especially Detroit pizza. Next up, we got the Bengals versus the Ravens. Lamar Jackson versus Joe Burrow. Sunday Night Football. Tony, who you got, buddy?
I got the Ravens.
Okay, David, who you got, buddy?
Ravens also.
I got the Bengals winning the divisional match, okay? Monday Night Football, we got a big, heavy hitter divisional game. We got the LA, Las Vegas Raiders versus the Kansas City Chiefs. What you got, Tony?
Is that a heavy hitters you said? Kansas City.
Kansas City.
I got Kansas City. I go Kansas City. All three of us. The Three Musketeers. All right, guys. Hope all you guys have a great week. Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe. Please do not become like Tony and become a Mets fan. I swear to God, at this point, I can't. I'm gonna turn my camera off. I'll turn this off because I can't look at that garbage Mets hat anymore. Hope all of you have a good night. Good night, America.